Lord, thank you for these beautiful days we've been having. And I just ask that you help to keep our hearts and our minds open so that we can better come together and work together as people. I hope that, and I pray that some of these topics we talk about are reaching the right people who need to hear it, people who have questions. And I just pray that you continue to spread your blessings, Lord, as we will try to spread your word and your information and all things about you, Lord. Thank you for letting us be forgiven for our sins through Jesus. And in Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Skeptics Podcast, episode 44. 44! My name's Dylan Hurley. This is John Boy, and every time we ask John Boy how he's doing, John Boy, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. I got a slight headache. I haven't had no coffee this morning or energy drinks, so we're going to get that tuned up right after the show.
Yep.
But
we addicted.
But no, other than that, man, I'm feeling awesome today. I was driving over here, and I was just doing some reflecting. And there was something I remember telling you that with my family, my crew, my younger brother, sometimes, man, or my other brother, really, either one of them, can be difficult. That's exactly the way to say it. And I remember talking to you, and I told you what's so frustrating about that. Because it really doesn't affect me a whole lot, but it affects other people, and that's what frustrates me. And you said, well, turn that crap around.
Yeah.
And I thought that's funny, and so I've been marinating on that. And that was Friday. So then Saturday, wake up, see my people. There was change of plans for my schedule for the day. So then I ended up doing a bunch of stuff ended up wanting to do. That was cool. It's been a while since I've done that. It was kind of just off the cuff. But then, all that leading up to, I come back to the house, and Noah's there. He's just like
buffed up.
He's like knocked out. Like he's been burning the candle at both ends with college and work.
Okay, gotcha.
And
never heard that statement before.
What?
Burning a candle at both ends?
You ain't heard
I've
that?
never heard that.
It's pretty popular.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, sir. Do you get it? Because it's... Yeah. Okay. Well, either way.
It's like the firing line in World War II.
Yeah. And and so I was like, I'm just going to leave him alone. And I put on... First, I listened to like a metal music video, and I thought, maybe that's not the best thing to watch while somebody's sleeping. And then I just watched some hunting content, and my people got there. And... there's this show we've been watching together, and it's very rare that like I enjoy a show enough to finish it. It's something I figured out. It's very rare. So I've really been enjoying this series. I've been watching with my family, and I've gotten everybody into it.
What's the series called? Love Island?
No, Love on the Spectrum.
Oh, you have told me about this before.
It's awesome.
Yes, you have told me about this before.
It's awesome. It's such a good show. The people are so wholesome. It's
right.
It's really good, I think. But either way, we've been enjoying watching it. So he's been in this mood. My people just got
Down
back.
syndrome mood?
No.
Oh, okay.
In like a being difficult.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. He just pulled a Shane Gillis on everybody.
That's tough, dog. But no, he and so but like I said, everybody's been enjoying watching it. So it was like, hey, I'm gonna put this show on. And everybody's like, we all came together, we watched it. We ended up binging the whole rest of season 3. So,
how many seasons is there?
3.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. So that was good. It was good. And I think it's helped contribute to me feeling good today, because it was kind of like everybody came together, even though some differences or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this real quick, and then we can jump right in. So I'm trying to stick to this diet goal so I can be, which I don't know how realistic it is, but either way. And so I'm trying to eat these low calories. Funny story. So yesterday I'm looking for something to eat for lunch, and I find some tuna. I'm like, all right, perfect. I made 2 open-faced tuna sandwiches. Means that there isn't 2 slices of bread. It's bread, tuna on top. Open-faced sandwich. I pull out a can of peas, and instead of reading real carefully like I should have, I said, oh, it says 60 calories. Perfect. Ate the whole can.
Yeah. There's probably like 6 servings in there.
No, it's 3.5. So
that ain't really that bad.
It's 60 calories per serving. Yeah, but it's still more than I thought it was. Oh, that, I don't know what it was that got me to think that was only 60 calories. That's ridiculous to think that.
Hey, dude, the Smart Pop's like 100 calories for a bag of popcorn.
Hey.
So, I mean, quick glance at that, you're like, oh.
Green beans, fun fact, they're like 20 calories per serving in a can. So if you really do want to be getting like 60 calories out of a can, eat green beans, not peas. So found that out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely I've figured out, because I'm slightly doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm upping my activity more. I'm trying to get 8,000 steps to like 10,000 steps, and I've been pretty consistent at it right now at like 195 pounds. Then, and like 2 weeks ago, I was like 198-ish, whatever. A lot of that's probably water, but I could definitely tell a difference, so I'm cool with it. But, yeah, eating low calories sucks after a little while.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, because at first I was like, dang, I'm like over my limit. But then after I dirt biked and did some other stuff outside, and I'm just sweating. Mm-hmm. And then I went and I played drums for like 2 hours straight with just a little fan on me. I thought, I've probably made up, because it's not like it wasn't a massive amount of calories overage.
Right.
And so after my total amount of activities, I probably was back to a manageable amount.
Right on.
So that was cool. But speaking of, for the people, me and my people at the house, coming together, good attitude, watching a show, on that same idea. What do you think about that? About the people coming together, contacting their senators, I think it's Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee.
Yep.
Utah senator. And I can't remember the exact wording, but he said like the removal of public lands from the bill.
Yeah. I'm pretty hyped about it. The only thing that really confuses me is I would think that all those people are still the same people that makes the votes on like suppressors and stuff, but we can't ever get that overran. Like, I think we just actually took a step back on the suppressor side. But on the land side, everybody's like, yeah, dude, I'll call my senator right now. That was a whole dumb thing anyways. So.
Yeah, for sure. And what's funny, because I've been thinking about that with the suppressor stuff in mind as well. Like, one of those, if it doesn't pass, nothing changes, right? No big deal. If the suppressor stuff, which it didn't, but if it don't pass, then, I mean, everybody just keeps paying their tax stamp. We all going to complain. It sucks. Is what it is. But we're used to it at least. The difference with the land, like, once you lose it, there's no regaining that.
Well, I don't think there is with the suppressor deal thing either. I mean, I think that's the whole deal. I mean, let's just continuously make it harder on the people to be able to get certain items. Unless there's like, we really get somebody in there that's like, dude, fully automatic machine guns, they're free. Unless we get like one of those guys in there.
Yeah.
I think the suppressor deal will forever be you got a real, or the suppressors, the braces, all that stuff. That's going to be a hard battle to fight. I'll continue to fight it. But
what do you think about like the fact that they've cut down on the wait times?
I just think they just probably finally got caught up.
Well, so
I mean, the amount of orders that was placed when COVID happened, because everybody thought the world was coming to an end, was a lot of orders.
I don't even think that's it, because part of the whole argument, whenever, I don't remember who it was exactly, but somebody took like the ATF to court over it effectively.
Yeah.
And they were saying that one of the problems is the fact that for an NFA item, for a tax stamp item, it takes so long to get my tax stamp in and to get my item in or back to me. Like, that's what is making people upset. Well, like a month after that happened, they started really cutting down times. And
so what are you saying's happened? Like why? Like what?
Because
what'd they change?
They were supposed to have the processes and people and like technology in place to be able to process those at a quicker rate. Like this is 2024, 2025 area.
Right,
like
right.
we shouldn't have to be having people going through this stuff and like,
Well, you shouldn't have to pay at all.
well,
Let's make that clear.
I feel that, but while we do have to pay, the process shouldn't be so difficult and so lengthy for something that's like it's not that hard.
I think they want it to be that way, though.
Right. But then that's why the people pushed back, because originally it wasn't supposed to be. As they added more items to it over the years, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna improve this, we're gonna improve that," and then they never improved anything. They went to court over it. That was one of the big arguments in court, was the lead times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then what'd they do? They cut those way down. So now they can still have control of the item. They just cut the lead time down, which made a lot of people happy. Now, I'm curious to see how long it lasts, what the turnaround times are, but I've heard a lot less people complaining now that the turnaround time is so quick.
No, I agree with you 1,000%.
Because it feels like less limitation. It feels like they're not limiting you as aggressively. Still limiting you because you can't just walk in there and buy it. But at least it's not.
Unless you're in Texas.
Yeah. Unless you're, a resident of Texas in Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I wonder why just not every other state does that. Like, why is our homeboy or homegirl, Sarah Huckabee, not just helping her brother out here?
Because I don't think they're really about that life.
And Texas is the only one that is?
Yes. I'm surprised Florida hasn't, actually.
I know, but DeSantis said run people over if they're protesting. He didn't actually say that exact word.
Right.
But he said if somebody's threatening you in your car and they're protesting with a Molotov cocktail, then, yeah, you can hit them if protect your family is pretty much what he said.
Yeah.
And I'm all about all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, nobody's stopping me whatsoever. The suppressor deal's tough because obviously I want one, but there's a part of me that's just like, F them. And I just, the price isn't even really the thing.
No.
It's just you're now in a system forever, and you're probably already in that system if you ever bought a gun,
dude.
And I bought a lot of guns.
We're already no. So that's something that I think people get wrong. First off, you're already in the system when you're born, okay?
Oh yeah,
and they like fingerprint you and everything, and you get a number, and like you're part of the system at that point.
Yeah.
When you buy a gun, it's not every time you buy a gun that they like register it to your name, like the federal government like does a whole thing.
Then how do you choose when it does?
It's only like NFA items.
So like once I buy like a suppressor or something?
Yeah. Like that.
Not even buy like a AR pistol?
No. I don't think so. Like, yes, you have to go through the FBI background check and stuff, but that's just our process.
Right.
I don't think that like this idea that there's like a book and like Dylan has this many guns and he bought this and this and this and this.
Oh, I definitely think there's a book of that.
I don't think there's a book.
I think so. If you're sending in some sort of paperwork that shows serial numbers and everything, I definitely think there's something to where if somebody really, really wanted to, they could go back in and be like, here's Dylan's, what he's all bought, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but I don't think, not unless they have probable cause.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just like that same thing that, it's like Tucker and Tim Cruz were talking about this. Tucker asked why am I saying that? Ted, that's right. I was like,
I almost said Tom.
I was about to say something sounds wrong about that. Ted Cruz was asking Ted Cruz about us being friends with Israel.
Yeah.
And he was like, does Israel spy on us? And Ted was like, yeah. And Tucker was like, are you okay with that? And he goes, every friend spies on every friend. And I'm like, what? No, like not every friend spies on every friend. Like obviously on the nation level, there's going to be spies everywhere, but like I'm not spying on you to see if you're doing shady stuff. And I just thought that was funny because they could be.
Yeah.
Is the perfect example. There is a way to where they could be spying on you, or getting intel on you, or whatever. Yeah, and I'm not one of the guys that really, really care. I mean, the ATF probably come to my door one day anyways, so I'll hit them with the yeah. So that's a whole different deal right there. But I'm glad to hear about the people doing the land thing, though.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think the people really had a large impact
On something of this nature? Yes.
Now,
because we never got a reason while that was happening.
Well, they come out so like
versus just getting money.
Well, the main thing was they said that, or this Maine senator, Mike Lee, had said that there's federal land, right, that's protected, that's underutilized, and they were going to use it. People kept throwing around the words affordable housing, but if you read the bill itself, it didn't say anything about being affordable. So it was just for them to be able to build. So,
I mean, they were definitely going to put houses on it.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. No,
right.
I understand.
But
that.
it's not going to be it's not going to solve the homeless problem. That's what they're making it out to sound like. They're saying it'll be so affordable.
No,
there's going to be so many people who are going to be able to. It's what they made it sound like.
Yeah.
And it's nah.
No, me and JD were looking at there's a world debt calculator or a timer to where you could watch it. Well, it has all this other interesting information that it can break down. And there was one section on there that was said the average home price nowadays. And so then that got me curious. What does the average home mean?
Mm-hmm.
The average home means a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,000 and 2,500 square foot house. You know how much the average house goes for now in 2025? $420,000.
That's crazy.
Affordable my butt. I mean, yeah, that's crazy because I don't see many people's incomes going up that much.
No.
Because, that goes back to, I would love to know, what their range of affordability is.
Right.
When they say it's affordable, what does that mean? We're talking about some land was in California, too, wasn't it?
Oh, dude, yeah, it was across 11 states, so.
Yeah, it's here's 3 acres of land with nothing on it for $1 million.
Well, I think part of it even might have been touching, Yosemite National Park.
Right.
That land is, coveted. And so, I'm sure there'd be somebody out there who's got enough money who would pay the $100 million to build a house that they can look at the mountains and waterfalls.
Yeah, not only that, let's build a couple more houses and put up a couple more millionaires in there.
Yeah.
And I'm all about capitalism.
No, I agree with capitalism.
But, yeah, when you're taking away, essentially the rights of the people.
Exactly.
That's when it's...
And you know what I find interesting about the people coming together?
Huh.
Because I think if more people would do this for other problems, we could get more solved.
Oh, for sure.
But all the different types of people that enjoy that stuff, me and you are a small percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another percentage that's the hunters, and that's a small percentage. And then there's the people who are just the outdoor enthusiasts. They like to hike and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a small percentage. And then you have the people, and you have all these small percentages, but then eventually they become a large proportion.
Right.
Or portion, I should say. And I find that interesting. Think about all the people who enjoy that land who don't like guns. They don't like hunting. They there's a lot of stuff we like they don't like.
Right.
But then, they love going and hiking and seeing nature and whatnot. If people could come together like that more often on different views, I think we could have a lot more change occur. Because it's not about it's bigger than yourself. It's not about what you believe.
Right.
It's not because this or that. And that's what I think makes it so hard with the guns or the this or the that. There's lots of people that love that land and enjoy being able to use it. Whereas like guns, niche.
Yeah, I would say I'd love to get like a statistic from like the Mike Lee. This is how many people that's called in that's like said does not need to happen.
Yeah,
because that shows to people like us that hey, there's other ones like us out there.
Yeah.
And another thing I would like to get broke down, I would love to see a breakdown of all the people that did call in and fight it.
Yeah.
Who's Republican, who's Democrat, and who's independent. Because like you're saying, if we did get a statistic chart of that sort and it was all pretty evened out, I mean, that's one way to unite everybody a little bit more. They could be like, you know what? That guy might not have voted for Trump. I did. However, I know we got this one thing in common.
Right.
So let's ride with that.
Dude, that's my point. Like, imagine if you could come together, like let's say they're not a big fan of Trump.
Right.
They're whatever, Democrat or independent, and there's a lot. And there's a lot that they don't see eye to eye on.
Yeah.
But if you could find more stuff that you do have common ground, imagine how much more you could affect the change.
Right.
Like, I don't know what it would be, but imagine, let's say you were big into climate stuff and you wanted more EV, whatever, and so now y'all come together to help push that. That could, the more people you have, that could really help.
Yeah.
Whatever initiative you're going for.
And like the climate thing's a great example. It's like everybody here wants this earth to be as healthy as possible. Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
Everybody here wants that. It's just there's not enough information on both sides to where it'll make one of the other think, hey, I don't really know if this is that big of a deal.
Well,
or I don't really think this is really happening. I mean,
so I have my own opinion on that, and that's where my skepticism comes from, is because it's like everybody's like climate change and you want your kids to be able to enjoy blah 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 blah, and I seen something recently where they said, I think it was our state and some other states were in a new climate zone. Like we live in a tropical climate now. It's no longer something else.
I know that
based on the temperature.
I know they moved the Tornado Alley into us. Like we're the center of Tornado Alley now.
You're kidding.
No.
I didn't see that.
No, it's like the back half of Oklahoma is no longer even in Tornado Alley anymore.
Okay.
Arkansas has had more tornadoes this year than any other place. I think we've had 43 touchdown tornadoes so far this year.
That's crazy when you got Oklahoma beat.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but
and that kind of goes along with what you're saying, though.
But my point is, to all of that, you can't just you're not just gonna give up because the world's changing.
Right.
Nobody has in the past, and I don't expect anybody to do that. And so, fighting for what we've already lost, the people who are out here we need to stop this and stop that. No. It's gone. I think we need to forget about that. You need to see what you can do for the future. And that's the people who I think maybe onto something.
Greta Thunberg. You know who that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember seeing her get carried away by this police guy.
Yeah. She's in Gaza right now or something like that.
That's crazy.
She went over there to help the Palestinians.
Oh.
Her 4'5" self is really going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Well, no. But my hot take, let me give you a hot take. This is what I'm skeptical.
Is it hot or cold, though? I mean, we're talking about climate.
Climate, it's really a cold take.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hit me. What you
so
got?
This is where I contradict from most people. Throughout time, the Earth's had these, I think, warming and cooling cycles. This is what I think, personally.
Yep.
And I think what will happen is eventually it'll get so hot that it'll self-regulate because how do I put this? Some of these ideas that science have, they align with my ideas, but only because God intended it to be so.
Right.
Okay? So I think when he was out here with the Easy Bake Oven and he put the earth in and it come out the other side, I think it was all right, it's now self-regulating. He doesn't have to worry about it. He took care of that. So eventually, what will happen, it'll get so hot that something big will happen and it'll cool the Earth down, and we'll
What
start.
do you mean like big? Like you mean like natural disaster type stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never thought about that.
And so then it'll start cooling back down, and then it'll get so cold.
Do you mean like volcanoes or
maybe a volcano?
like it wipes
maybe
all
forest fires.
It wipes all us out?
So that's the part I'm not sure on. I think there's obviously gonna be some casualties.
This is interesting. Because I don't think this way whatsoever.
But I don't think everybody will get wiped out. And I think everybody when they hear about it, they think, "Oh my gosh, we're all gonna die."
The end times are coming.
I don't think so. What I think is it'll change. Stuff will start to get colder, probably at a rapid rate, so people have to adapt quickly, probably within a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll cool off. Everybody will adapt. And then over time, it'll heat back up, and everybody will adapt. And it'll just go through the cycle.
Then we'll move to the government land that was sold to the public.
Yeah. That's not what I thought you were going to say.
And we'll be like Woody Harrelson on 2012 and just like embrace the
volcano
that explodes. I think a volcano exploded recently in a different country. Not really too bad, but I know Iran also had that earthquake.
I feel like I heard about that.
So
I feel like we have a volcano that exploded not too long ago.
Oh, so we definitely have volcanoes. Apparently, if Yellowstone ever explodes, we're all dead.
See, they say that.
I don't understand just dropping a nuke on it and just get it over with. Like, let's all.
What if you're cooked though?
No. I mean, let's all get out of here. I mean, let's just blow it up real quick just to see. You might drop a bomb on it, nothing happened. Then everybody's like, "Oh, we're cool." Just go back.
Let's send those bunker busters in there.
Yeah, just see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be kind of interesting. But I've never been ever like even thought about the climate stuff. Like I've looked into it to a degree to where I've made my decision already.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's gonna be like no big thing happen.
Well, I just think the Earth is going to self-regulate, and maybe it's not.
No, I agree with you on that part.
Maybe it's not as big as I think, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it all looks different. Maybe the whole world will change again. You know, there's a part of Africa that used to be super lush and green, and the desert is blowing and taking it over.
Yeah.
And it's dying off, and it's something crazy.
It's like where Atlantis used to be.
It's
the desert now.
I think the sand is growing at rate of like 12 feet a year, something crazy like that.
Well, don't they say that? Wasn't there like a whole theory at one time is like the oceans rise a certain amount to where like California won't be a thing, and
I don't
in
know.
like
Probably
so long.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't recall, so I can't tell you any exacts. But that's like, I mean, the world has changed time and time again throughout history.
Right.
You know.
The whole Pangea thing.
Yeah.
It's like where we were all one.
It was one big place. It's lush. It's green. It's beautiful.
Yep.
And then things started to separate and yada, yada, yada.
There's only two genders.
Exactly.
And then we all separate and the world goes nuts.
But with that, you know, it comes time and figuring it out.
I wonder how other countries work with like their public land. Like
They don't have any?
they don't have any at all, really?
I mean, I'd be willing to bet.
Like you don't think Russia has any public land?
No. I bet they have Russian land and they have people and the land the people own.
Oh, okay.
Like here. Like this is owned by you.
Let's look. We'll just use Russia as an example.
I mean, they might have the wilderness, but I'm sure Russia owns it.
You're not sure the like United States owns the other part?
Hey, we own the rights to it, yes.
It says
But it's for the people. There's a difference between being for the people and for the Fed boys.
What does that mean? Why would the Fed boys go out there? They're not going to catch no crime. They ain't making no money.
Obviously, but what if they want to use the land for all of their, mad scientists, into the world type beat? You know what I'm saying?
We do that in like right down the road, dude. Here, it's like we're just going to hide it. According to ChatGPT, it says, yes, Russia does have a lot of public land, and a lot of it, in fact, In fact, the Russian government owns a vast majority of the land of the country that is for the public. Federal government ownership, about 60% of all the land in Russia is federally owned. This includes national parks, national reserves, military zones, camp and forest lands. So, yeah, it says privately owned land is only about 7 to 10% of Russia is privately owned.
So let me ask this then. Why do you hear of nobody ever being like, you know what I want to go see? That national park in Russia. Why is it that and I'm talking about people from all over the world, why do they all want to come see the Grand Canyon? I've been to the Grand Canyon.
Right, but I don't know. I mean,
Like,
I don't know. I don't watch the news from other countries. I mean, at one time, dude, there was a lot of people that was going over to, like, Iran and Afghanistan to go on tourist trips at one time. Heck, we had some people that was kidnapped from, like, dude, I want to go to.
Well, people go all over the world all the time, but it's not like, my point is specifically for those, like, public lands.
I don't know. I don't know any of them about them, but I don't ever look up Russia stuff. Like, the only person I look up Russia stuff is, like, Putin.
But do they consider, like these other countries besides Russia, do they consider it public land, or is it just land? Does that make sense?
No.
Like, if you go to Iran, and you're like, man, I want to go. All right, I better chill. I want to go.
I was enjoying it.
And
it's all jokes,
check out
all love around here, brother.
Check out the desert.
Okay.
It's like, does somebody own that desert? Do you even know? Or are you just out there messing stuff up?
But a lot of people could say the same thing about here.
No. Let me explain.
Yeah, explain. I'm lost.
So, like, there's these guys that come over from Germany to my dad's work, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever they buy new machines and stuff. And they go and they rent a four-wheel drive truck because they want to have the American experience. Mm-hmm. And they'll go and, like, some of them have went out and tore up people's fields because they want to go mudding, right?
That's douchebags, but continue.
And they don't know. Like, they know it's a field, but I don't know if they know that it's a farmer's.
So they've obviously done it somewhere in their own country then.
No.
What?
No shot. They don't have four-wheel drive trucks. They don't mud over there.
Dude, I'm sure people mud, like, in spots where there's mud. Now, if it's in the middle of the desert, obviously
You're telling me there's no way they're mudding. Why would they do it here?
What are you
Why
talking
would
about?
they come here and rent a truck and be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go mudding like an American.
What if they were going to somewhere that was specifically for mudding? Just taking off in some dude's field, that's criminal. Like, what are we talking about?
I know. This one guy got busted.
What do you think was going to happen?
I don't know. I don't think they're thinking, though. That's my point.
But
like some of the people who leave here and they go over to these other places.
Like Brittany Griner, taking weed over there. You can't do that.
But imagine, so that's ridiculous. You should know better, I think.
You see a fence and you're like, I'm going to drive through that.
There's
and
no
go
fences.
What are you talking about, dude?
If I drove to Augusta right now, there's not a fence on every cornfield, soybean field, rice field.
I know, but you're still not going to look at that and be like, that's someone's land. Like, I'm just going to take off through it. It's crazy.
I know it's crazy. But we live here. We know that's somebody's.
I know, but even if I was like in Russia,
imagine you go over there to like Afghanistan, where we've been, right?
Right.
And you're driving around, and all of a sudden, you're like, I'm going to drive up that hill.
I would definitely do some research.
We're not going to say mountain, but let's say it's kind of like a mountain, and you're gonna four-wheel drive up it.
Right.
And you get up there, there's a bunch of sheep herders, and they're like, what the hell are you doing, man? You're tearing up my land,
Then I'm in the wrong.
But you didn't know.
Yeah, but you could make a good guess, though. I mean.
Could you?
Yes. For sure.
I wish, if I was richer, I would just test all of these theories. I would just take you to these places, and we would try this stuff.
I'm not just going to be driving along and then just look like, and then like, okay, I'm going to go mess that up.
What if?
Because mudding's messing stuff up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I'm just going out there and piddling around. It's like in New Mexico when I'm driving around. It's like I'm not like I'm about to tear this up, dude.
Okay, let's think about it like this then. Think about some of the people who are redneck people. Like redneck. Okay, from America.
That break the law.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And let's say it's the same kind of guy who would think it's funny to steal somebody's chicken.
Okay.
They send him over there. And he's over there somewhere else. He sees a goat, and he's like, watch this, boys. I'm going to take this goat. And they're all laughing. They stole some guy's goat.
Yes.
Still just as bad, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so then you would probably say that this guy probably does something comparable at his own homeland. Like if he's willing to come here,
that's what I'm saying.
Get in a truck, and just go shredding.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like those guys had to know going into this.
Let me pitch this idea. Here's a hot take.
Okay, let's hear it.
Good.
Let's hear it.
So what if they're on the internet? Okay, we're on the internet 24/7.
Okay.
And they're watching videos, and they don't understand that the farmer who's tearing up his own field, he owns it. They see a guy like Billy.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, dude's got a side-by-side. He's out there just in his own field. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to do that. So they go get a side-by-side.
And don't ask no questions.
Don't ask no questions, and they just rip.
Well,
because that's what they do around here. That's what they're thinking.
You're probably going to get shot.
Oh.
And then it's
they're willing to take that risk,
I'd definitely check into it before you just go balls to the wall and do it.
This guy ended up meeting a really nice farmer. The farmer was really chill. Luckily, it was an off-season. There was no crops.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. But I would think there's, like, you can do that stuff in other countries.
I don't think that's as popular. That's just that's just like the whole argument the other day.
It might not be as popular, but you can still do it.
When we were talking about Southern food versus Northern food.
Yeah.
Right? And we started looking it up. And there is different kind of like cuisine up there.
Okay.
Like we don't eat the same stuff.
I don't like that stuff. It's that simple.
I know you don't like it. You're a Southern boy.
I'm a Southern boy.
So, yes, I understand that, but like there's these differences, these cultural differences.
Right.
Even within our own place.
I understand that. And I love all people, but if I see you ripping around in my field.
Yours is a little bit different, though. Like, imagine if there was no fence.
Still, dude.
Imagine if there was no fence and your horses wouldn't run off. And you come out and there's a guy riding your horse.
Still crazy. Yeah, I would be like, what is going on?
But what would you do? Would you go up there and be like, dude, what the heck are you doing?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's what the farmers do.
Yeah.
They're like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah, like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
here?
you're not just going to blast him, though.
Well, no, I'm not going to shoot anybody unless they start shooting at me. I mean, I've
so we're reasonable, at least.
Yeah, but we're reasonable to the point also that we're not going to look in somebody's field and be like, dude, about to go rip that guy's field
But I would be willing to say that you know some rednecks that tore some fields up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've tried to stop a lot of them, but it just don't. I can't stop them all.
Hey.
I mean, there's a...
What about the WMAs then?
WNBA?
You got me. It took a second.
So who owns that?
The one up by my house?
Yes.
That's owned by the Green Bay Packaging Company.
Okay. So... is there any land currently that nobody really owns?
No.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Okay. It's just like we were talking about this a couple of days ago, going back to like your house.
Yeah.
Like your house is never ever really yours. Because even when you pay your house off, if you don't pay your property taxes, they can come get you out of your house. You're not even paying your house payment anymore because it's paid off.
Yeah, but you're paying for it's the land, is it not? Not the house.
Well, the land as well, because the house goes on land.
Yeah.
But
you would still have to pay property taxes even if there wasn't a house on it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you own the house.
But it's on the land, though. But they'll take it.
So you have to pay a fee.
Yeah, they'll take it.
You're paying a fee to live on the land.
Yes, for the rest of your life.
But you're living in America.
Okay.
So
I love living
So
here.
Hear me out. Would you rather pay that fee to live in America or in Mexico?
Oh, in America for sure.
All right, then. Boom. There we go.
No.
Solving the world's problems.
No, I understand all that.
One podcast at a time.
See, like, I'd like to know, like, does every country pay a property tax?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm not either. Like, Mexico's just got cartel just doing all their business. So, I don't know. Property tax might not be a thing.
But I'm sure they pay some kind of other taxes.
You hear something really weird that we're on the whole, like, geography kind of kick right now? The older I get, the more or less, like, I want to go far out of the country. As strange that is. And I love traveling. But unless it's something like, like a really nice beach or something like that, or Mount Everest, because I do think it'd be cool to climb that. I just like, there's not many other stuff that I even really want to like see anymore. It's like, dude, I like my freedoms here so much. It's like I don't even want to give it up for a week to go check their stuff out.
Well, I don't even know about that though, like because
like if I had a chance to go to all these, like I wouldn't say no probably, but I'm not itching. Like I'm not
really itching to go, but just to a few places. There's a few places I'd really like to go and see and enjoy, but it's for the whole experience. I want to eat the food, and I want to meet the types of people there, and I want to see these places.
The people's the only thing for me.
The experience food, of it.
Now I'm like, nothing will ever beat a hamburger. I've already established.
I know you're a big hamburger guy.
So
goodness.
But like Cammy's going to Hawaii here in a couple weeks, and I'm very jealous of that. But it's also
America.
America. I mean, it's just got good looking beaches, and that's what I'm about,
man.
Besides, like I said, besides like Mount Everest,
right?
But
I want to go to Italy.
Like I don't even have one to do that anymore. At one time I did. I was like, dude, I want to see the Eiffel Tower and all that junk. Is that in Italy? No, it's France. It's France. Then no, I didn't ever want to go to Italy.
But like I love Italian food, right? And I would love to have it made traditionally.
I get that.
By the people who invented this stuff, man. And they're very so there's cultures out there who take a lot of pride in being who they are, just like we do.
Yep.
And they're one of them. And I think that's really cool.
Oh, no, I think that's, like you just said, the only reason I'd want to ever really go to these places is if we could talk to somebody there on the pod. Because them telling me about their culture is the cool thing. There's not like any wants of seeing anything.
That's kind of like my new idea is like there's all these ways you can take a vacation over there. I almost want to go and then try, like, do a little bit of research before and find an area where I think I'm going to vibe with the people, right? The people who are going to match my energy. And then I want to, like, meet somebody who's cool and be like, all right, I would love to be able to link up throughout the week and you show me stuff that is, like, traditional to you. And
I'm sure you could find something
if they're like, dude, this is where I grew up. This is what we eat for breakfast.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is awesome.
Right.
And it's like, this is my favorite place to get lunch. This is a traditional whatever dish.
Right.
And it's like, that's how you really get the genuine experience.
Have you ever seen the guy on YouTube that does that but dating the girls? Like he dates a girl from like every country. So he like travels around all the time.
Yeah.
And he does all kind of weird stuff like that. Like I think he did one where he was like, I went on a date with a girl like every day for a month, like just a different one.
Yeah.
But he goes to like all these countries and he'll like take a girl out at like every country and he gets to like learn stuff from them. That's what you need to do, dude.
That sounds
or get him to come over here for a little while.
Sheesh. Hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Dude, I can show you what it's about.
Yeah, I was wondering how like, what do you think people think when they hear American Dream? Like, you think they think let's do redneck stuff, or you think it's like?
I think it's different for everybody.
Like, what do you think the majority is though?
But the American Dream, like to come here.
Like what do you think? What do you think goes on in people's minds when there's like, I want to achieve the American Dream? Because it's definitely different between the people that's already here and the people that want to get here.
I think for people who want to move here, the American dream is to be able to live here full time and to be able to use the opportunities to provide a better life for them and their family, whatever that looks like. So, like, whatever you're doing somewhere else, how can you do that better here?
If you were say you were running a different country,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of had the same diplomatic system that we did here, what blows my mind is, like, why would people not want to compete against that? Like, if you're Putin,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's like trying to escape to the United States, why would if you were I'm saying this if we're all good people here.
Yes.
If you're like, I want my country to prosper, it's like, what can I do to give people that mindset? But why are people not doing that? Like, the only other place that I know that possibly may do that, and it's not even a country, is just Dubai.
Mm.
That's the only place I know where it's like, if you want to live or get the chance to live a spectacular life, just like you do in the United States, you could go to Dubai.
Well, part of it is, like, the barrier to entry for, like, Dubai is high.
Very, very.
So that's what makes it, like, different as well than us. But also, why I think other people don't try to do what we do is because they want and enjoy the power.
What is what do you think? What do you think that power is different, though? Like what power does Putin have that, like, say, Trump doesn't have?
Putin can literally do anything he wants without question.
But
currently, Trump is working to get that bill passed, and
Yes.
so are all these other people in the government, and it has to go through these different systems. Whereas Putin just says it and it happens.
is that for sure?
It's got to be pretty close.
Because I don't know how it works over there, but it's like, I mean, a majority of people,
Or at least that's how I picture it.
and I know the fight back against this is, I know when Tucker was over there after his interview, he talked to a couple of people, and they were like that they enjoy living here.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's going to be some people that says, well, if they say anything else, they'll die.
All right.
But it goes back to what me and you were just talking about before. I mean, you think Putin's just looking at every individual that's in Russia that's like, if you say anything bad about me, I'm going to kill you? Probably not. Probably don't want to put all those resources there. Now, may he do that? He might. But I'm beyond blessed to live here. But I just can't understand why other people wouldn't strive to beat that.
I think it's nobody wants to relinquish their power to the people. So, like, here we have the most say so of any, like,
Maybe.
place.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Maybe.
Definitely. We just proved it.
Yeah,
Everybody got together.
Yeah, but let's prove it on a way bigger scale than that. Let's put out a poll that says who wants to go to war with Iran, and let's see what everybody says. And then you have to abide by that rule. That's all I'm asking. Let's just make it a vote.
Good luck.
I agree.
But we still have, I think, the most ability to choose.
I would probably say so.
Because we choose at the state level and the federal level.
Yep.
So
I agree with that.
even but you can even go beyond that. Federal, state, local. You can vote on your town.
Yeah,
city.
but because you know everybody says, like, politics is a dangerous game. Have you heard people say that before?
Yeah.
At what point is that a thing? Like,
Right out the gate. Because listen,
you even think at, like, local level?
Yep,
They're
because
like, you're already getting death threats. And
I
you're
don't know
like,
about death threats, but right out the gate, you're gonna have people that don't like you,
well, no, I understand that.
and they're gonna be like, "This dude's a little B word."
You're gonna have that everywhere, brother. Everywhere you go, at work, you're a leader at work.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, a man that's never stood up for something is a man that's liked by everybody. So, I mean, but you're not over here, like, stressing about the thing. Like, at what point is it, like, does it really start becoming dangerous is my question. And why does it become dangerous?
I don't know, maybe the federal level.
But why is it becoming dangerous?
I think because you're playing against people who have the capacity, the capability.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, technically it could happen at the state level, but less likely.
but then it goes back to how many is it really for the people? Theo Vaughn had a great podcast with Thomas Massey a couple of days ago. And Theo said the same thing. He goes, why does it seem like it's like you got – he said this to Thomas Massey, which is mad props. I don't think Thomas Massey's really in this game. I don't think he really agrees with a whole lot of stuff all the other Republicans agree with. He's probably more on the libertarian kind of side. But Theo was like, why does it seem like you guys are just playing a game back and forth with each other, and we're not even allowed to be a part of it anymore? That's a deep thing from Theo Vaughn saying that,
Yeah.
dude. And I was like, he's kind of right, because although we do think this public land thing is a big deal,
Yeah.
I mean, because we don't want that to happen, but currently we have a thing going on that could be there's just no land there ever anymore because a war goes on it here. Hopefully that doesn't ever happen, obviously, but I mean, the more you ag stuff on, the higher the F around and find out chart.
Yeah.
We're continuously. Well, I say we're continuously. It seems like now Trump.
It's currently at a ceasefire. So
Right, but they both broke that as well.
when?
Whenever they announced it, do you not remember Trump saying
Yeah,
the
but
whole
then there
thing?
hasn't been anything since then.
Are you sure?
Pretty positive.
Oh well, I'll check after here. I don't know when Trump comes out and says they don't know what the they're doing. The first president that's ever dropped the F-bomb live.
Yeah.
Crazy. Come on, man. There's children watching this. Even though there's a bunch of people that's like, dude, there were so many more people after he said that was like, that's my president. Like it was like, this is what I want to see.
Right.
And even a little bit of me. I was like, dude, I'm like,
See, but I can't do that. That's what makes me mad.
what do you mean you can't do that?
If me and you have an argument or something happens at work or wherever, here,
Yeah.
and I drop one of those, it's like, dude, the way it comes across all wrong. It seems.
Well,
and everybody goes, he's using vulgar language. He's not very intelligent.
well, I think
There's a lot better words you could use, John.
I do think there was a lot more. I think there's definitely a lot more better words. Than Trump
But
could
now
use.
he does it on
Just-
the world scale, and it's like, oh, that's fantastic.
Well, brother, going to potential war with another person while you're trying to be the middleman, like we are on a side. We did pick a side. Let's go ahead and make that clear. We're with Israel. That's just how that is.
Yeah.
But if for the Israel's teammate, which is us, to come out and say, dude, what are y'all doing? Like, we're trying to, like, people are dying right now on both sides, and I'm trying to stop it. Like, is there a right time to use it? And that be the time? Possibly. Like I said, he could say anything. Just me, this is a me thing. And maybe it's wrong because it's more on the emotional side. I'm open to being wrong. But it wasn't the F word itself that made that so impactful. It's that he actually started showing that he's getting frustrated about something. Now, whether it's a show, it might be. But
I think
there's not many other times where Trump shows that he's like, things aren't going the way he planned them to go.
Yeah, but there's times where I can come in, and without even me and you talking, you can feel. So, like, if I came on the TV and I sat down and I acted different, and the way I'm talking and this and that, I think could show that without having to cuss.
Oh, it definitely could. That's what I'm saying. The F word wasn't the big factor to me.
Because, like, everything that I read and everything that I watch says that to be a better leader, like, it's all about learning how to control your emotions and do these things logically. And it's okay to be passionate.
Yeah.
But you still have to be, I don't remember what the word, I just read this the other day. You have to be, you can be passionate, but you've got to be, like, clear-minded.
Yeah.
They had a better word, but
I agree with all what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. You said it perfectly. I think in that one instance, like I said, it didn't have anything actually to do with the actual F word being said, but there was some passion for something. There was a passion for what it looked like. I could be wrong. There was a passion for this needs to stop or it's going to escalate into something bigger. That's what I saw that was like, I'm glad I voted for that guy.
Let me ask you this, though. Because prior to that, everybody was like, we are about to get in another war. Mm-hmm. And he said we weren't going to get in any wars.
I still think we're going to.
And a lot of people are upset about that.
Yeah, I still make that clear. I still think this is going to go on, and I still think we're part of it. I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
But I still think it's going to go on.
So, if that's the case, like, what does that do for the people? What does that do for his numbers? Because that's what I think sometimes. I think sometimes these guys, like, see that, like their popularity in the sight of the people is low.
Yes.
Because of current events and whatnot. Yeah. And I sometimes think that they start basing decisions off of that and less off of,
I agree with you.
Other ways of thinking.
Yes. I agree with you for sure. I definitely agree that he's doing that. And like I said, if he's pulling the cover over my head, then he's pulling the cover over my head. I still think we shouldn't be in the thing at all, whatsoever. I don't even think we should have dropped the bombs on the whole place. Now, we talked about this before. Was it impressive if it was true? Yeah, it's impressive. I'm not going to throw that away. We got the best darn people for the job. So, I don't want to be in the thing, and it seems that, and I could be wrong, the whole deal with this thing right now is the two big players that are quote-unquote teammates is Trump and Netanyahu. Trump's deal was Iran's not going to have nuclear missiles. That's not Israel's deal. Israel's deal is I want a full regime change of Iran. So, still don't condone it, but if Trump went over there and dropped these things and now he's like, we're out. We're out the game at this. My goal was no nuclear weapons. If you got to do something else, do something else. We're not part of it. That's what I hope. And it seemed like that's what we got a little bit of when he was like, they don't know what they're doing. He was like, they're just going to continue to just bomb each other for a reason that's not important. Now, granted, it might be important to either one of them because there's two different levels of this. There's rather not Netanyahu really wanting to do a regime change and do whatever he needs to do with Iran, and Iran just wanting to kill everybody that's here in the United States, or it gets deeper than that. We're talking about two different spiritual religions that's fighting against each other, and that's when it gets really, really deep. You got Netanyahu who claims to be a Christian, and then you got whatever that homeboy is in Iran that claims to be a Muslim. And if they're both if they're fighting on that level, then this could go on forever. Versus it's just, I don't like those guys. Because eventually you do have to give up. But me and you being Christians, we've already made the pledge at this point. If somebody comes in here to this door right now, holds a gun to our head and says, all you got to do is say you don't believe in Jesus Christ and you'll live, we're both going to be like, yeah, no, I believe in Jesus Christ. And just get domed right there on the spot. That's when it becomes deep, because we got two sides that might just go until there's nothing left, because they're not going to die for it. And I got to respect for both ends if that's really what's happening. If this is not I want to take your land and do all that junk or all that other stuff, which everybody here knows is, I think, is BS, then we got two different gods fighting each other right now. Then, technically, if you think if it's on the religious scale,
yeah.
So I don't want it to continue to go on by any means, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. But I hope Trump can realize at a certain point if this is something that it's too big for us to be part of. And that's all I can pray, is just everybody just tries to get along the best of their abilities and everything goes hunky glory, because we've already made the point at this. If anyone does something over here, like on our neck of the woods, it's over for you. There's no, and I'll stand on that to the gills. We do the research, we figure out who it was. Sorry, you're the one that started it.
Yeah.
So we gotta pick our roads really, really easy now. But I was happy to see a little bit more passion come out of him when he's normally just business guy to the gills. I'm gonna split the difference every single time. I'm gonna sit here and just negotiate everything. Yeah. Versus, have you ever seen? Because we're about over time. Last one I want to ask you a question on, and if not, I need to find a way to get your reaction so I can put it in this video. There is a speech that Trump gives, and there's this part of the speech. You know how we talked about it, that speech class that me and you went with. Yeah. Our guy Daniel was talking about. There's certain times where you hold like a pause. Yeah. Like you're really quiet for like 5 seconds even. There's a time where Trump's giving a speech and he doesn't talk for like 30 seconds. Like after he was talking, and he stops. And you're watching him. Like I said, this could all be an act, and I might be just very, very bad at picking it up. But you're watching him and you see his whole demeanor shift. Like he was giving a speech. I mean, we're the greatest country in the world and all this other stuff, which he's right. And there's like a moment in the speech to where it's like there's music playing, like background music playing too, and he just stops, and he's like, I think he finally. To me, it looks like he's realizing that how heavy of like not really a burden, but almost like a choice of the people he's carrying at this point. Because he was on the same podcast. He was on a podcast with Patrick Bet-David. And Patrick Bet-David pulled that clip up. And he was like, talking to Trump, he was like, well, what's going on here? And Trump was like, I had a feeling. And I had to hold for a little bit. And I'm like, obviously he's not going to dive into it because it makes him vulnerable and all this other stuff, but that's what I want. I'm like, what are you feeling right now? Like, are you looking out at this crowd of people and you're like, I got to keep fighting for these people? I hope that's what it is. Could be wrong. But that's the kind of stuff I like to see right there. I mean, when I can see that. Because you know what it does is it humanizes the person. Yeah. It's like he's not a super soldier. Yeah. Like he's an everyday dude that wakes up, I hope. He's an everyday dude that wakes up, eats breakfast like the rest of us, puts on his clothes like he's going to go to work, and he does his own thing. But he's holding the front line for everybody behind him in this nation. And I wonder how often, you know how me and you sit here and contemplate stuff sometimes? We're like, man, I don't know if I should have done that or this or blah, 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 or what's life really worth or whatever. How often does he sit back and think that as the leader of the nation? That's the moment I'd like to talk to him about. When we're in the Abraham Lincoln room that he loves so much. Yeah. And he's just time zoning. And me just being able to ask him. And I hope one day we can do this, manifesting it. I'm like, Trump, all the BS out of the side. What's going on in your mind right now? And I'd love to hear what he says. And he might hit us with a diplomatic answer like he's the soldier he is and blah, 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 and everything. He's got to be the leader. But I'd like to hear what that answer would be with the camera rolling and the camera off and see if it's the exact same answer.
I'm curious if it would be the exact same or if you would ask, like he gives you a really answer everybody would expect, and you go, can we dig in on that? Right. And see if he'd be willing to.
I know. I'd love to do that. I mean, I'd love to see it.
I just like digging in.
And I know the times when we do get governors and stuff on here, that's one question I'm going to ask them. Like the first question, whether you're left, right, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, independent, whatever. My first question is just going to be, how are you doing right now? Like, on a mental and physical level. Like not a I'm doing good in this race or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
Like
We don't care about your political standings.
no.
We can look that up.
yeah, because at the end, if you're an American, I hope you have a good life.
Yeah.
Unless you're a pedophile, but I want you to have somewhat of a good life, even if you're somebody that I don't agree with. And so that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, guys. I was probably rambling a lot there at the very end. My grandpa's going to be like, Dylan, let the other guy talk. But that's why we got podcasts every week. So if anybody likes, dislikes anything that we've said so far, get in the comment section.
Yes.
Because I will respond to those puppies. And if anybody ever catches me out in the wild on comment sections, like, somebody could say something about it. That would make my day. Is like if I'm commenting on like some wild thing happening in like Libya or something on a YouTube video, and they're like, dude, that's Dylan from Skeptics Podcast. If they get in there and they're like, dude, I watch your dude, I'd flip out. It'd be the coolest thing ever. And then I'll comment back. All right, guys, that is it. This has been episode 44.
Yep.
And we will see y'all next
on
week.
The next one.
Later.
Bye.